Hi, guys, and welcome back to Model Behavior. I am back with part 2 of my tennis player series. I have another story to tell you guys. I really debated whether or not I was going to tell this story, but I decided to share it, so I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so the second story that I was really thinking about was what I was doing around this time last year. So this was I would say it was about a year ago, maybe a little bit more. It was in January sometime because this happened during the Australian Open last year. So Australian Open happens in Melbourne, Australia, every single year, and it is like the first slam of the year. It's the Australian summer in January, so vibes are really high, and it's a really fun tournament. I've never been. I've always wanted to go. But around January of this time last year, another tennis player slides into my DMs. And this time, he's a singles player. So the first time was a doubles player, but by professional tennis player standards, since this guy's a singles player, he must be better at tennis. Anyways, we're chatting a little bit, and this guy is actively playing in the Australian Open. I was really debating... Side note, I was really debating whether or not to tell this story, but I was just chatting with my friend Larissa like a couple hours ago. She is my esthetician. She gives like amazing facials. Like literally my skin is so clear because of her. But I was talking to her about this story because she remembers when all of this was happening, because I was just obviously spilling all the details to her. And she was like, you have to tell this story. And I was like, I don't know if enough time has passed for me to be able to like talk about this, but she was like, no, you have to talk about it. So I'm really debating like how many details I should share, but I think I'm just gonna go for it. So around January last year, I was talking to this tennis player and we're chatting, and obviously he doesn't know this, but I'm a tennis fan. I'm watching the Australian Open while I'm at work. A little bit. I'm watching a little bit while I'm at work, okay? Like, I'm still focused, okay? But anyways, so we're chatting a little bit, and I'm kind of like, oh, this is fun. And I'm keeping up with his social media, like seeing him advance in the tournament. And at one point, he had reposted a story of a girl on Instagram. Like a girl had posted a story of him, and he had reposted it. And I was like, okay, good for that girl. Like, obviously, this man, like, there's no chance that I'm ever going to meet this man in person. So I was, like, very emotionally uninvested in this whole story, which is why I want to talk about it. Because, anyways, I just think that I was honored to be involved with this, okay? Anyways, so now I know about this girl. I go to her page. She's an Australian influencer. She has quite a few followers, and she also works as a model. So obviously she's like very hot. And throughout the tournament, I'm talking to this guy, and he is just posting regular tennis content after that one repost. But then I'm, at the same time looking at this girl's page, and she starts posting more and more and more content about him. And she's just posting a lot about this guy. And I'm like, oh, like they're definitely like talking. And I was like, interesting, let's watch this unfold. So he's talking to me, and then, which is like, obviously I just matched with this guy and I'm just barely talking to him. So like I said, I am not like inserting myself into this situation, but I still, like I said, I was honored to be involved. So throughout the tournament, this girl and him are definitely spending time together. It's kind of fun. I like seeing my little daily updates from my like hot Australian model girl. And then he eventually loses in the tournament. So then he's done. So with professional tennis, if you lose one match, you're eliminated. There's no like consolation bracket. There's nothing like that. So he's done with the tournament. But the stories with this girl do not end. So from there, he goes on and travels to a few other countries and plays tournaments there. And this girl is traveling with him, okay? And so she's fully traveling with him, posting stories in his player box, like having dinner with his physio and the rest of his team, like all of this stuff. And I was like, dang, like they're probably going to start dating soon. And meanwhile, this guy is still talking to me and just, it's not like anything crazy, but it is just like, it's pretty like regular communication, I would say. And at one point, a couple times during this road trip, because she went with him for probably, I would say, like 3 or 4 tournaments. Like, it was a significant amount of time that she was traveling with this man. Like, each tournament is about, if you make it far in the tournament, if it's a big tournament, you'll be in one place for probably like 2 weeks. And then the smaller tournaments, you'll probably be there for like a week. So it's like a pretty significant amount of time that they're traveling together. And she's like fully like, she started just kind of like soft launching him and in a boyfriend capacity. And then by the time they get to like India, she's like hard launching him on her story and then hard launches him on her Instagram page. So like they are like fully dating, okay? And obviously like she's traveling with him. She's been traveling with him for like the last month and a half ever since the Australian Open. And I'm just kind of keeping up behind the scenes. Sometime in this whole like traveling saga, this tennis guy, I can't call him tennis guy. I feel like I need to differentiate them somehow. I guess I'll call him Australian Open guy. Australian Open guy, like FaceTimes me. And I'm just kind of here for the plot at this point, because at this point I've already told my best friends and I've already told my mom, like, because I'm literally like, while all of this is happening, I'm literally like pipetting like reagents in a lab. I am like weighing out, obviously I'm a gut microbiologist. We study a lot of poop. I'm literally in the lab like weighing out cat poop. I'm not even kidding. I wish I was. It is the worst smell. If you have cats, you know. It's heinous, okay? So I'm here weighing out cat poop in a lab in Colorado, keeping up with this, you know, love story of this tennis player and this Australian model, but then he's somehow still trying to communicate with me. And that was one of those situations where I'm kind of like, this guy thinks I'm way cooler than I really am, I think. Like if he knew what I was doing right now. Anyways, it's just all silly. So I was telling my best friends and my mom about this. Like, I cannot believe, I told my mom, I was like, I am absolutely honored to be involved in this mini love triangle. Because at this point, I'm like, this man, you know, in my experience, I'm not going to like be terrible and say like all athletes are like this, because obviously I like have a very small sample size, but like in my experience, this is very common. So I'm not like surprised at this point. Like, it's been a whole year since my original hot girl mission in Paris. Like, I've wisened up a little bit. And so I'm not surprised by this, but I am honored. And so we FaceTimed a few times, and it was, honestly, it became such a fun hobby. When he would FaceTime me, I would be like, and granted, there were time differences. So I think where he was at the time, like, it was like evening my time. So I would be FaceTiming this guy while I'm like cooking dinner. And then I would be like, hold on 1 second. And obviously I'd go to Instagram and check to see what she's doing, because she's an influencer, which means that she's documenting like every second of her life, which is kind of like a blessing and a curse in this situation. Oh my gosh. But anyways, if I did have feelings for this man, this would be like my worst nightmare. But this guy, he's a piece of work. And I'm just kind of sitting back and watching all of it. So I'm cooking dinner. I'm FaceTiming with him. This happened several times. And then I immediately go to her Instagram and see what she's doing. And he would always be FaceTiming me when she's like at the pool or like going shopping. And it was just such a fun hobby. Like winter 2024, like immaculate vibes. Like this was my reality TV. This was my Netflix. And so this happened quite a few times. And then, like I said, she decided to like hard launch their relationship when they were at a tournament in Mumbai. And so Mumbai, don't come for me. Anyways, Mumbai. Anyways, so they're at this tournament in India, and she decided to hard launch them. And at this point, the time difference, I think, was like I was just waking up, maybe, because I remember like doing my like morning Instagram scroll, which I'm trying to get better at, and I am getting better at. But I was doing my morning Instagram scroll, and I saw that she had posted like this main grid picture of them at the Taj Mahal together. And I was like, oh my gosh, like they're officially dating. So I was like, dang, well, that was fun while that lasted. And then I look at her story, and she posted like, I don't know if you've seen this on Pinterest, but it's like one of those like aesthetic pictures where like the girl's laying in bed and then the guy has his like head on her shoulder, but his head is facing away. Like, do you know what I mean? Anyways, it was one of those like totally Pinterest, like this girl was just like a walking Pinterest board. So it was one of those like super Pinteresty pictures of them together. And she just like, the caption was like currently on this story. And obviously that's probably not current. It probably was not actively happening. But I, for the sake of my role in all of this, I choose to believe that she was live updating. And she had posted that 2 minutes ago, okay? So, like, it's hot off the press. Obviously, I'm risking it a little bit by, like, looking at her Instagram story. But in my mind, I'm like, this girl has, like, thousands and thousands of followers. Like, she's not gonna, like, she's not gonna notice me. Keep that in mind for later. So, right after she posts this story, my WhatsApp starts ringing, okay? And it's Australian Open guy. And I'm like, there's no freaking way. Like, according to her, according to Hot Australian Model Girl's story, like, they're literally in bed together right now. But no, my WhatsApp starts ringing. And I pick up the phone because I'm like, I have to see what this is about. And this man is in the bathroom of the hotel. I know it's the bathroom of the hotel because of said model's Instagram stories. Okay, she's posted at least 4 selfies in that mirror so far. Okay, I have to pause here. I know that I sound crazy, but like I said, this was my reality TV for like 3 full months in last winter, okay? Like, I was fully invested in this storyline. And whenever I didn't know a detail, I would make one up in my mind. Like, okay, like I was fully like trying to make a full plot up about like how their relationship was unfolding. So anyways, I pick up the call, and this man is in the bathroom of the hotel room. He's speaking in hushed tones. And he's just asking what I'm up to. And obviously, I'm going to milk this situation for all it's worth. So I'm just like, oh, nothing much. Just woke up. Like, what are you doing? Anyways, so we have a brief conversation. I'm asking him, like, oh my gosh, like, how is the tournament going? How are you playing? Like, what have you been doing for fun? Just really catching up. At no point does he mention, you know, his friend. Obviously, he thinks I'm an idiot. My favorite part, sorry, this is such a side note, but my favorite part, and I feel like all girls kind of feel like this, my favorite part is when a man underestimates my intelligence. Because my favorite thing to do is know the truth about something. Okay, I shouldn't get into that. I'm talking about something else now. But anyways, I'm fully just going to keep playing dumb, okay? Because it's at this point, it's for my own entertainment. So eventually we hang up, and I'm like, dang, that was crazy. So then I like have to go and update the girls. Like, you guys will not believe what just happened. She hard launched them, and she posted that she was in bed with him. And then he FaceTimed me from the bathroom in hushed tones. Like, what does that mean? So we're just like giggling, gasping, like really eating this up. This is where things get interesting. So later that day, obviously I'm locked in. I can't remember what I was doing this day. I really can't. But like, I must have had more time to check my phone. So I'm checking my Netflix, okay? I'm checking to see what these guys are up to. And at one point during the afternoon, I go to look up her page. It says, this page not found. Or what does it say? Like, it says like something went wrong. And I was like, huh. Now, this is like my first, quote unquote, first time getting blocked to my knowledge. I'm sure I've been blocked before that and just didn't know. But I'm like Googling, like, what does this error mean? Because I'm like, no, my content is gone. And the internet is telling me it's because I'm blocked. And like, this could mean one of two things. Obviously, I'm choosing to like insert myself into this situation and like make myself a part of like this non-existent love triangle because I never met this man. But like in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, like she somehow found out about me, which could be true. It could very, very likely be true. There was quite like the paper trail of like our communication, me with this tennis guy, and he was texting me a lot. Okay. And here's the thing. Another side note, I'm really like, man, this man is so avoidant. I bet you anything. This is the story I made up in my mind. I'm like, he started catching feelings for the model girl, and he realized that things were getting serious, and he was like trying to like self-combust by like trying to find comfort in someone else, because I do feel like that's a thing that happens. Like if you have dated an avoidant, I did not date this man, but if you have experience being involved with an avoidant, like please let me know if that's like a common thing. But I really think that that's what happened. And I was like the other woman. Like he was like texting me so much because he was like falling in love with this girl. Like that's what I want to believe. And I think that that could be low-key very true. But anyways, Australian model girl blocked me. I am blocked on Instagram. So this is the abrupt end of like season 3 of my favorite Netflix show at this point. And another possibility, okay, and here's my thing is like, in my mind, I'm like, she has so many followers. Like there's no way that she's like intricately checking her story views to find me. So that's why I was like so brazenly looking at her stories, because I'm like, there's no way. But apparently there was a way. There's another, I don't know. Because obviously it's like, I'm obviously a real person, but also around this time, I didn't give this detail, but like he had also been commenting on my stuff quite a bit. And so like, and like I said, I did not want to like step on her toes at all. But at this point I thought that they were just talking. And then like, as the seasons of the show went on, I was like, oh, I think that they're fully dating. But I kind of just expected him to like stop talking to me, and he didn't. So I would like, if he FaceTimed me, I was going to answer, okay? I wanted to see how this played out. And in hindsight, I'm not trying to excuse my behavior, because in hindsight, if I were in her shoes, like, I would have been so upset if that happened. Obviously, I would have been, like, throwing up. I would have been so upset. So, like, I feel bad about it, talking about it now, because I'm like, this is, like, a real person with a real life. But anyways, I think I realized that when I got blocked. But for a while up to that, I was like, this is just, like, my favorite reality TV show. So that was the end of that saga. I don't really know what happened. But I'm assuming that they stopped talking, because then towards the end of last year, this guy was in Hong Kong playing a tournament. And once again, he started posting about a different model girl, this gorgeous, gorgeous Chinese model. I am not even kidding. I was like, that is the most beautiful girl I've seen in my entire life. Like, wow. So once again, I use this as an opportunity to pad my ego, because I'm like, he thinks I'm one of his American model girls. Like, wow. Like I said, he thinks I'm like on a runway somewhere. He doesn't know that I just like do magazines, and that like 90% of the modeling work I do is push this kid on the swing and pretend it's your child. Like, model this sweater. Like, he has no idea. And I'm like, you know what? He's deceptive. I'm going to be a little deceptive. I'm not going to tell him he's wrong. So I am honored. I am honored to be in this man's rotation. I'm like, I cannot believe that, like, I'm not saying I'm on the same level as these other girls. These other girls were just like next level gorgeous, but I'm like, wow, I am so honored once again to be involved in this. But that's kind of where that story ended until a few weeks ago. So we had kind of like sporadically kept contact. Sometimes I like really wanted to know something tennis related that I couldn't look up, and so I would text him about it and kind of ask, like, so I could have like my little insider scoop on like what's happening on the ATP tour. Okay, I feel like I can't have too many details about this, because I feel like, so he's been in I heard from him recently, and this is where I was really thinking about it, because I ended up telling him like, oh yeah, I'm going to be in Indian Wells this year. Are you going? Like, really curious, because I'm like, well, I would definitely go to one of his matches, like, for sure. And I would obviously be like, only if my mom can come. Like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be going on this trip with my mom. But he ended up telling me that he is not going to that tournament. And I found out that it's because he's currently embroiled in scandal. This is the part that I was really thinking about, like, not talking about. So I think I'm going to keep it kind of vague, because I don't want to, like, I don't know. I still, like, kind of want to protect this guy's identity. But yeah, he is not going to the tournament. And so it was funny, because he had texted me, and I was going to ask him, like, he had texted me just to catch up, and I told him I was going to be at this tournament, asked him if he was going to be there, and he ended up saying like, oh no, it's because of something else. But it wasn't because of that. It was because of a much more scandalous reason. That's all I'm going to say. Right now, like, I'm just excited to tell this story to me and my 23 followers. But if at any point I feel like it's getting sketchy, I fully might go back and edit this part of the episode out. But I'm going to leave it in for now. Larissa said I should leave it in. She's egging me on. She's being a bad influence. But that was my second story that I wanted to talk about. So I am, needless to say, very excited to go to this tennis tournament. Will I be able to come back with a story that tops those two stories? I have no idea, but I'm super excited to find out. That's all I have for you guys today. I cannot wait to talk to you again in next episode. And until then, watch out for those F-boys. Bye.